dashboard again. The needle on the gas gauge was deep into the red-shaded area. Despite her fears about staying ahead of the storm, she slowed the car, hoping to conserve what was left, hoping it would be enough, hoping to stay ahead of the storm. People began to race by, the spray against her windshield wreaking havoc with her wipers. She pressed onward. Another 10 minutes passed before she heaved a sigh of relief. Gas, less than a mile away according to the sign. She put on her blinker, merged, rode in the right-hand lane, exited. She stopped at the first open pump. She'd made it but knew the storm was still on its way. It would reach this area within the next 15 minutes, if not sooner. She had time, but not a lot. As quickly as she could, Denise filled the tank and then helped Kyle out of his car seat. Kyle held her hand as they went inside to pay. She'd insisted on it because of the number of cars at the station. Kyle was shorter than the door handle, and as she walked in, she noticed how crowded it was. It seemed that everyone driving on the highway had had the same idea. Get gas while you can. Denise grabbed a can of Diet Coke, her third of the day, then searched the refrigerators along the back wall. Near the corner, she found strawberry-flavored milk for Kyle. It was getting late, and Kyle loved milk before bedtime. Hopefully, if she could stay ahead of the storm, he'd sleep most of the way back. By the time she went to pay, she was fifth in line. The people in front of her looked impatient and tired, as if they couldn't understand how it could be so crowded at this hour. Somehow it seemed as if they'd forgotten about the storm, but from the looks in their eyes, she knew they hadn't. Everyone in the store was on edge. "Hurry up," their expression said. "We need to get out of here." Denise sighed. She could feel the tension in her neck, and she rolled her shoulders. It didn't help much. She closed her eyes, rubbed them, opened them again. In the aisles behind her, she heard a mother arguing with her young son. Denise glanced over her shoulders. The boy appeared to be about the same age as Kyle, 4.5 or so. His mother seemed as stressed as Denise felt. She was holding on tightly to her son's arm. The child stomped his foot. "But I want the cupcakes," he whined. His mother stood her ground. "I said no, you've had enough junk today." "But you're getting something." After a moment, Denise turned away. The line hadn't moved at all. What was taking so long? She peeked around those in front of her, trying to figure it out. The lady at the cash register looked confused by the rush, and everyone in front of her, it seemed, wanted to pay with a credit card. Another minute crawled by, shrinking the line by one. By this time, the mother and child got into line directly behind Denise, their argument continuing. Denise put her hand on Kyle's shoulder. He was sipping his milk through a straw, standing quietly. She couldn't help but overhear the two people behind her. "Oh, come on, Mom. If you keep it up, you'll get a swat. We don't have time for this." "But I'm hungry." "Then you should have eaten your hot dog." "I didn't want a hot dog." And so it went. 3 customers later, Denise finally reached the register, opened her pocketbook, and paid with cash. She kept one credit card for emergencies, but seldom, if ever, used it. For the clerk, making change seemed more difficult than swiping credit cards. She kept glancing up at the digital numbers on the register, trying to get it right. The argument between mother and son continued unabated. In time, Denise finally received her change and put her pocketbook away, then turned toward the door. Knowing how hard it was for everyone tonight, she smiled at the mother behind her as if to say, "Kids are tough sometimes, aren't they?" In response, the woman rolled her eyes. "You're lucky," she said. Denise looked at her curiously. "Excuse me?" "I said you're lucky." She nodded toward her son. "This one here never shuts up." Denise glanced at the floor, nodded with tight lips, then turned and left the store. Despite the stress of the storm, despite the long day driving and her time at the evaluation center, all she could think about was Kyle. Walking toward the car, Denise suddenly felt the urge to cry. "No," she whispered to herself. "You're the lucky one." The Rescue. Chapter 1. Why had this happened? Why, of all the children, was Kyle the one? Back in the car after stopping for gas, Denise hit the highway again, staying...